I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
This is a Kmart production, brought to you by Dudzik Chiropractic and MJB Electric. Welcome to ZaBillsPodcast. If this is your first time, we discuss the Bills games while we review two different Buffalo pizzas. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Listener's discretion is advised. ZaBills Podcast.
Hey, what do you think the Bills need to do here?
I think they need to get a goddamn defense. That's what they have to do.
No, I think they need to go for the QB sneak with 3 timeouts left and not get it. How's that sound?
Johnson?
Yeah, this is right out of the gates here, huh?
Cold open.
Wow. They got to start plugging up the middle of the line of scrimmage on defense. That's it.
Also put 11 guys on the field all the time.
Yeah, try that.
Weird.
No block punts. 4 touchdowns.
That would help.
I at one point I was in the bathroom on whatever. I'm not going to get into detail.
You were pooping. You can say it.
And sorry. My son yells from the other room that Shakir scored his touchdown. And traditionally, what's happened is if we're watching football games together and a big play happens and somebody's somewhere else, you got to stay there until something changes. Yeah. So I hung out in the bathroom for a little bit, and then I had to make kids dinner, and I didn't watch. I stopped watching the game after that because I was like, oh my God, they're coming back, and then I sat and I'm like, oh God, I got to get out of the room. And
they almost did come back. I mean, 2 points, that's pretty good for the way that they played.
Okay, so let's talk about McDermott's decisions. There's a few. So obviously the defense did not play at all, and that's why this situation came up, because Ed Alvarez was still in Buffalo. Russo was still in Buffalo. Epinesa was there and looked like a fool out there at times. Dwayne Carter.
Yeah.
I heard he didn't play very well either.
Well, it's his first game back, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so remind me we'll talk about Milano a little bit. I want to bring up that. Okay, so Bills are on defense, and the Rams have a holding penalty on 3rd down. Why? I understand why he did it. I don't agree with it. Why would you accept that penalty?
Zero reason.
One, you're hurting yourself by letting more time come off the clock.
Yep.
They end up picking up 10, and then they get the first down, and they score a touchdown on that drive, correct?
I think so.
Yeah. That was Nakua, I think.
Yeah. So
that's a good guess.
Yeah,
because everything was
play. Yeah.
I mean, I get it, right? Like, his defense has not done anything, and push them back 10 more yards should give your defense a better chance of no points, but it backfired in your face. And what's the worst that would have happened if they declined it? Like, most likely LA would kick a field goal, right?
Right.
And if he makes it, okay, 3 points, now you're down only 6.
Right.
You miss it, you're only down 3. Like, that right there I thought was a blunder.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, in hindsight, that's the one he wants back, is that one right there. But, and I was reading something today about, one of the guys on Twitter was talking about, it's not just McDermott that does this. They were talking about the Rams and Cincinnati Super Bowl. And I kind of remember this vaguely, but they were talking about how, like, the last 5 minutes of that game, both McVay and, Zach Taylor, the Cincinnati coach?
Yeah.
Zach Taylor?
Yep.
Were doing everything possible to give that game away with their time management and their timeouts. So it made me feel a little bit better about McDermott because, he does some, I think I had texted the group yesterday, when it's in close quarters like this, close games, he tends to do this more than he does the right thing. So that's the frustrating part.
You talked about Twitter. I remember seeing something on Twitter not long ago about the entire list of times that he's made decisions like this that have affected us. I mean, we all know the big ones. We all know the 13 seconds and blah, blah, blah. But there was a whole list of them. I'm like, holy crap, where
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you, Dennis, but I would like to see him do that more often in close games where he actually makes the right choice. Right. He does do well in games where the Bills are winning by 15 or 20 points. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. And we don't have to really heavily criticize his decisions.
Because there's no pressure.
Right. But, I mean, how many games can we look at that the Bills have won close? I'm thinking back maybe to the Miami game this year when Bass hit the 61-yarder. Maybe he made a good call at that point. But more often than not in these close games, I feel like They're blunders.
Well, I feel bad because after the Kansas City game when he made the call, I assume that it's him that made the call to go for it on 4th and 2. I thought maybe he had turned a corner. I thought maybe he was figuring shit out like we all do sometimes, but he obviously wasn't. So the game yesterday was a little bit of a step back for me. I had this game against the Rams circled on the calendar all year, thinking that this was going to be a trap game. It's right before Detroit. It's after we were thinking that we were going to do well throughout the year. So I thought, and the Rams played really well. Don't want to take anything away from the Rams. They outplayed us big time on every facet of the game. But the game against the Rams yesterday just proved that McDermott can't get it done when it counts.
Do you remember last week you were on the phone and Sean and I were here? I remember asking him. I think it's been 2 weeks in a row. I asked him if he felt that this Rams game could be a trap game, and he says no.
Yeah,
unless our defense is just terrible, then I would. I mean, that seems like a trap game.
Yeah, I think what happened yesterday was I think a few different people had bad games, which you don't want to see, but it happens. But I think that, the Rams really were clicking on all cylinders. Like I think you said that nobody else would have beat the Rams yesterday. I think that's probably pretty true. But at the same time, they were just unbelievably bad on defense in every possible way that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I did text my brothers, that group that I'm in there, and I said, this has the makings of a trap game when you look at it. I mean, coming off that emotional win against the Chiefs, you got the Lions staring you down, you're going across country, you got a team that's finally healthy in the Rams, who's fighting for their playoff life at home. It had all the makings for that. That being said, I mean, the defense got sucked into it, that's for sure. That was a trap game for them. That being said, Allen in the offense, once again, looked unstoppable. And this is game after game. They're going over 30, and this time they were over 40. Yeah. So it was not a trap game for them. And that tells me that even when they're not clicking early on, when he puts the pedal down, they can get to 30 in an instant.
And then they weren't clicking the whole first half. They were off. There was something not going on there. And you just saw them turn it on kind of in the second half of the first half and then the second half altogether. Everything that we just said, though, I still feel pretty good. Surprisingly, and even about Detroit, I think that we might actually pull it out against Detroit.
Wow, you drinking the Viola Kool-Aid?
I try not to.
So he wanted me to ask a question to the panel that's here tonight. Would you have rather lost to the Rams by 2 points, or beat? I couldn't believe you asked this. I'm like, are you serious? Or beat the Panthers by 3? I go, are you a fool? Why wouldn't you take a 3-point win against the Panthers?
Why are we asking about the Panthers?
Because the Eagles? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, because they're like a terrible team in the league. Like, what's a better? Do you feel better about beating the worst team in the league by 3 points or losing to a Rams team by 2 points?
That's what
I don't give a shit who you beat.
What was the final of the Eagles game? That might be what he's referring
16 to 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was, yeah. Well,
that was a close game for a while.
The Chiefs a few weeks ago only beat the Panthers by I think 3.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
Who cares? A win's a win, and especially with Kansas City fucking pulling out another one last night with that kick. Why you needed that win? You have to stay pace with them, and you need them to drop one, and you still need to win to get that 1 seed. Like, that is critical. I honestly think that if the Bills get the playoffs through Buffalo, they have a fantastic chance this year. If they don't, I don't see it happening.
That's my opinion too. That's why I'm putting so much stock into this Lions game. And even yesterday's game, I kind of wanted them to get that. We weren't thinking about the 1 seed. At least I wasn't, a month ago.
Oh, a month ago.
Ish, 6 weeks ago. But then we're getting spoiled, and they're on this ridiculous heater. And then you're like, well, the 1 seed usually just goes on a heater and only has 2 or 3 losses. So why can't it be us? And so for them to lose yesterday, obviously that puts a little bit more pressure on them for this game, even if they want a chance at home field. But I agree with you. I feel like they have to get home field. I really do. I mean, cold weather, that San Francisco game that you were at, Mike, that was kind of like what sealed it for me. Like, who's coming into Buffalo on games like that to win?
Unfortunately, the good AFC teams that are most likely coming through here are also snow teams, right? Kansas City, maybe not so much Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Still, though, home crowd, I mean.
No, I get it.
Or you go on the road, or you get 1 at home and 2 on the road. I just, yeah.
Do you think the number 1 is still a possibility?
I do.
Realistically.
Yeah, realistically, I do.
I think so, too. I think the Chiefs got at least 1 or 2 losses.
To
their
who?
stretch. They got Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Denver,
Houston. Yeah.
I think they could lose 2 of those 3.
Yeah, their strength of schedule is worse than ours for sure. We have Detroit, but then we have New England, Jets, New England.
Right.
I've been kind of saving this for this moment.
Floor is yours.
We're 10-3, guys.
Right.
We're 10-3, and we're all freaking out because we lost one game. I understand the way it looked. I understand that we should have won that game. We're 10-3. We're only one of 2 teams in the entire league that's won our division. We were the first to win a division. The season is far from over. I mean, everyone's acting like we should start the funeral tomorrow.
I mean, was it over when the Germans bombed
Exactly.
Pearl Harbor?
Do you know what though? I think the panic for me, and I don't if that came across my voice, is more about the 1 seed.
No, it has nothing to do with what you said.
If
This
they
has been
lose
the past 24 hours,
the community, yeah. If they lose to Detroit, that kind of takes a little bit of pressure off, and you're like, all right, you're in. Let's see what happens. But I'm still kind of nervous about the 1 seed. That's all.
So my thing is this: this year is a bad example because we went from a horrible loss in Baltimore and then lost the game in Texas, at Houston. I think it's good for us that we lost that game. I really do. I think
agree.
it's going to put us kind of in check. Detroit's a good team. Kansas City is probably the worst first place team in the history because they have so many things that, it could have gone either way. And there's so many games. Detroit has won all these games. I mean, they're solid. So we need to be best foot forward from the minute. I've had this conversation with you, Kyle, before. Our defense is so hot and cold. And if it's cool, we're losing. The defense has got to be hot. And the defense was ice cold this week. When you've got a quarterback that puts up 6 touchdowns and you lose the game, it's not there's something else going wrong somewhere else, right? 100%. It went wrong everywhere else, literally everywhere else. And even the offense in the beginning was a little shaky. Yep. So all you have to do is put together a decent defensive game, and we win yesterday. You go into Detroit, you've got to put a solid defensive game together, and your offense has to click the way it did for 3 quarters or whatever it was yesterday. That all being said, I'm with you. I'm not panicking. I don't think we have to have the first seed, and the reason why I say that is I'm not convinced that Kansas City wins against all these strong teams. If someone may go into Kansas City and upset, and if we're number 2, that puts everything right back through Buffalo again.
Yeah.
So would the number 1 seed be good? Hell yeah, it would be. Every game comes through here, and you get a bye to rest up, but I still think that we could do it.
I think even talking about the 1 seed is unbelievable sometimes after living through the drought and stuff like that. I didn't let myself think about the 1 seed until we beat Kansas City a few weeks ago. When we beat Kansas City, then I was thinking seriously that we can do it, and I still think we can do it. The Chiefs, I have their schedule right here. They're at Cleveland, Houston, at Pittsburgh, at Denver. So the Cleveland game, you look at it, you think, oh, they're definitely going to win that. Cleveland has looked pretty good against some teams lately.
How'd they look yesterday, though?
Not great. It was a division game in Pittsburgh. It wasn't great for Winston.
27-13.
Yeah.
Skip was at that game.
Yeah.
However, Winston put up 500 yards the week before, 497.
Yeah.
That's insane.
They should have played him much earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm. You're paying Deshaun Watson, whatever it is.
You're still paying him.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you were going to
way.
pay. Yeah, I mean, they should have played him and they could have had a better chance of winning.
Yeah. So we talked about the Chiefs' schedule. Our schedule, on the other hand, is at Detroit, New England, the Jets, and then at New England again. And so that is a much softer schedule, I think.
Okay, so what seed are the Bills sitting in today?
They're tied for 2 with Pittsburgh. I think we have the tiebreaker.
We do.
I believe.
We have the tiebreaker right
As
now.
of right now, yeah.
We would
We're-
play Denver if the playoffs were 2.
Yeah. We're 2, the Steelers are 3, Texans are 4. And then Ravens 5, Chargers 6, Broncos 7.
And the Dolphins are still in the hunt.
Broncos losing tonight, Broncos if they do lose, who they have? Kansas City? Did you say next, or who was it that was next for Kansas City? Sorry,
Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So when the Broncos, it's key to watch them, is what I'm getting at, because that's the only way Miami is still in this, is if Denver loses their next game. Which, and if I remember correctly, I think they have a tough game this coming week, if I'm not mistaken. So that keeps Miami around. We'll see how long that lasts for, but. Sorry, it took me a while to get that one out.
I can't believe they're still in the hunt.
I'm surprised.
They're
but,
only at 7 losses or 8? 7.
I think 7.
Yeah.
I think they're 6 and 7.
That's
think.
why, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Buffalo and Pittsburgh are at 10 wins, and Kansas City's at 12. I think the closest behind us is 8, right? Then it goes down from there.
Yeah.
It was almost like the Chargers didn't want to win last night. Josh Herbert's a good QB, but man, if he could have had a couple of those throws back, that game would have been out of reach.
I've never seen Josh Herbert
Justin?
play.
Yeah, Justin. But he was he's on a somebody said he was I think Harbaugh said he was on like a bum leg or something like that
He
after
got
an
hurt a
injury
couple
last
times
night.
during the
it was like
game,
a deep contusion or something like that.
Oh
they said.
man, they had
so he played hurt.
They got a burner wide receiver that gets open, and he's got the arm to reach him. He overthrew him on like 2 different plays.
Who's the burner?
I think it was number 5.
Oh, Palmer, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that guy got open a few times. I don't know who. Okay, who in the NFC scares the pants off you? Philadelphia.
No. I
No.
feel he's going to play a traditional run the ball, balance offense.
Okay, so these teams that can run the ball consistently, and we have a team that consistently can't stop the run.
That worries me.
Yeah,
Brady, actually, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud.
he said some things I agreed with.
Brady
yesterday.
made a good point. He said our defense either buries the running back in the backfield or allows huge chunk plays. It's one or the other. It doesn't
That's
ever
true.
seem to be anything in between.
I don't get it. So, do you think it's great that Milano is playing as much as he is, or should they kind of
I thought
spelled him a little bit with Dorian Williams, who had been playing really well?
that's what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to kind of ease him in. They had 5 weeks or whatever it was to kind of get him to the playoffs. But he played a lot last week, which I was surprised about, and then played even more yesterday.
I saw him make a couple plays where he read it and stuffed him in the hole, and then there were some other times.
There was one play where Blake Corum, the backup running back for the Rams, faked him out so bad.
I saw that. Yeah,
I can't remember when it happened in the game, but it was pretty bad.
yeah, he went flying.
That might lead back to him not playing football for a year and a half or whatever.
Well, and that's what I was going to say when you were asking about how much he's playing. I'm the last one who should say this out loud, but we all know there's a difference between in shape and game shape. I'm neither. But to get into game shape, you have to play in the game.
No, yeah.
And we want him to be in game shape come, the critical times, playoffs and all that stuff. And the other thing, too, I was just thinking about, let's just say we can't get to the number 1. That means by that last New England game, we probably know what's what, who's where, and we're locked in. And that's our bye week.
That's our bye, yep.
We can sit most of the starters and all that kind of stuff. And knowing Josh, he'll want to play a series or something like that. I don't even want him to do that. You don't want him hurt,
Yeah.
But so it's either let's get this number 1 wrapped up. I mean, we might be playing for number 1 that day, so who knows? But we may have that bye week anyway. So, and that game is a TBD on the schedule. I
think most of them are for the last week of the season, just for that reason that so much fluctuates throughout the year that they want the big ones in prime time. Like I think we were the prime time last year against the Dolphins, and stuff like that.
If we're playing New England, we won't be prime time.
Yeah, in New England, no chance.
Unless that win
Gives us number 1.
could give us number 1.
I don't think they'll put New England on national television with that roster.
Yeah. I mean, 425 if you're lucky, but that's it.
Yeah. Why do you think the Bills are playing so well offensively, still missing Kincaid and Coleman?
I think that Sean McVay said it perfectly yesterday. Josh Allen is an alien.
Yep.
That's why, right there.
So it doesn't really matter who he puts on the field with him.
I mean, I think it matters, but I think that, and talking about, I think Mike, you said about being in game shape. I'd like to see Coleman soon.
Yeah,
because I think it's been 5 weeks or so plus a bye week.
So what really happened to his wrist? Did he?
Apparently
it
fell off.
broke
I
it?
don't know.
it fell off.
Had to have been a fracture.
It had to have been 100%.
I don't know why they didn't put him on IR.
Right.
That could be a personnel issue, like by not putting him, or even Kincaid, because I think Kincaid's passed 4 games now, isn't he?
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Is this
I
his
think
4th game?
I think it's the 4th game.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that they didn't put those guys on IR right off the bat. Maybe it was a wait and see kind of thing, but I think they have a lot of flexibility, obviously, because they won the division. I think they're slow playing all this, obviously.
I'd be shocked.
I think the one
either one of them don't play this weekend.
Yeah, you would think.
The one that bothers me is Keon Coleman because he's a rookie. So you want him to ramp back up and get ready for the playoffs, kind of,
I wonder too if McDermott is playing a game with him of, he is a rookie, the rookie wall type thing. Like, can we just get him mentally healthy and physically healthy for the playoffs type thing? Who knows?
That's true. I thought of that too.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to play because they had him diving in snowbanks and shit.
Yeah,
week,
the way that they were talking yesterday morning that he was going to play, I was shocked that he was out again.
Yeah, I think they were calling him a game time decision, and I don't know how soon before the game time you think you sent the text out, and I just want to see him back out there even for a few plays at a time, whatever.
Yeah, and two, I think Kincaid being in there gives them a little bit more of balance in the run game. I just feel like he's like a cog in the machine when he's in there. Yesterday got chaotic fast because they couldn't run the ball with Cook. So I feel like this game against Detroit, I know we're not at that point talking about what the game will be like, but I feel like they're going to probably try to get back to basics because McDermott does not like that style of game that they played yesterday.
See, I'm a big fan of basics with football. I feel like it's blocking and tackling.
Yeah.
And obviously there's little wrinkles, the motion and stuff like that, but it's blocking and tackling. You got to be able to do that before you do anything else.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Mike, but I just think like you watched yesterday and you could just see Allen when he was dropping back to pass look a lot like the 13-second game where he was hopping around and he's flinging the ball everywhere. Right. He's running. He can do that if we want to play, and we did that for a bunch of years where we were going to play balls to the wall Allen. He's proven to us that he can do that, and it's chaos, and he scores. But McDermott has not wanted to have games like that. He wants it to be like they've been winning, good defense, running the ball. But to me, that was fun, and when you have to go off script like that, look out,
Yeah.
And the other thing too with Kincaid, and I do agree with you with the run game and all that, but he is also lights out over the middle.
Yeah.
And we had the one play, the Shakir, where he turned it into 50-something yards, whatever it was. But to me, they've almost naturally put Kincaid into that. Help me out here, receiver from Dallas,
like a slot, like Cole Beasley.
Like he almost filled that Beasley slot, And when you talk about Allen running around like crazy and all that, a lot of the times that's who he's looking for is that guy who's got 2 steps across the middle, And
Yep.
So it'd be nice to see him back. I'm really hoping that they're both back, Coleman and Kincaid, for Sunday.
It'd be nice to see him with Amari Cooper because I think Cooper was hurt for a few games at the beginning, and then they've been hurt for a while. So I think it'd be good to see all of them together.
Right? Have they played together? Was
one
Cooper
game
here for Miami?
It was the game against Miami, I think, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Was the only
And I
game
think
they were
that's the
together?
game that Cooper got hurt, and then he was out for a few games.
Kincaid
That
got
was
hurt. Or not Kincaid.
Coleman
got hurt,
yeah.
because freaking Poyer.
Yeah. And then Kincaid, I think, got hurt in the Indy game, I think.
Speaking of Poyer, did you guys see his wife's post about Buffalo? That was fantastic.
Yeah. When she was here, she didn't like it as much, though, I think.
Yeah. Well, now she knows.
Yeah.
Did he hit her a few times?
Yeah.
After reading that?
Or she was banging half the locker room or whatever. I've heard that too.
Yeah. It'd be nice is if Curtis Samuel would to do something.
He had 1 rushing yard. I mean, that's more than...
I'm going to say it again. He had 600 yards in a bad Washington team. But how is he? He's invisible.
He can't get separation out there? Like, what the hell's going on?
And they try to use him with these gimmick plays that never work.
No, because that's, I'm sure when they watch film, Samuel, watch the gimmick play to him. Or what do they call those plays?
You know who made those plays yesterday?
Oh, God, yeah. He made it. That's in the dictionary. That's how you run those plays. Unbelievable. I was very excited to see Ty Johnson with a couple screen passes that worked. Finally, finally, some screen passes that are positive yardage. Holy shit!
Yeah, that one almost went, and then the other one was, I think, 40 yards, 41 yards.
Yeah, finally. Oh my God, they've been hearing me yap about that for years.
And that's the best thing to do against a defensive front like that. Like they're young and they're quick.
Yeah,
and so do a screen pass like that. Like that's the best thing to do.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Josh Allen tush push for his touchdown, and
which one?
The one where he didn't get in on the first try, and then they had to burn a timeout. So obviously they assumed that Josh Allen would score.
Oh, of course.
Otherwise, they should have run a pass play of some sort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pass play stops the clock, blah, 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 no timeout.
I mean, I just can't believe how people, this is why you hear people talk shit about McDermott and his end of game decisions in crunch time, because these little decisions of not accepting a penalty and running a different play have all eaten and hurt your team's ability to win a game with time on the clock because things worked out, but the Bills end up getting the ball with 0 seconds left in the game.
Yep.
And how much more time would they have had, or what would the score have been, assuming that the Rams would have kicked a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown because of this, and then you have no timeouts left. And
It was Brady on that play call. You could tell Josh got up and he kind of looked. It almost looked like he looked up at the press box. He kind of put his arms up like he knew what had just happened was kind of bullshit because they had to waste the timeout. But then McDermott in the postgame press conference talked about how they were going to have conversations about that. That was a Brady call down to Allen, like get on the ball and scramble. You know what I mean? That was an offensive play call. So I don't think that was McDermott.
Well, I do.
No. I understand that,
but don't those calls all come through all the headsets? Can't McDermott negate? I'm not solely.
I don't know the answer.
We've asked that same question about the 13 seconds. How he allowed all those things to happen in that game.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you 100%.
No, I don't know if that happens, but
the bottom line is there's one captain steering the ship.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I think you have to be able to call a play that you might be able to have something work besides a quarterback sneak there. Granted, that play works 90% of the time. I don't know what the percentage is.
Okay,
probably close to that.
So that he's going to tush push. Can't you bootleg off of that and then throw it to a guy wide open in the end zone if everyone is loading up in the box for that?
100%.
Or he bootlegs and he just goes to the corner himself. Anything to score, but not have to use a timeout.
I mean, this might sound kind of stupid, but how about putting in the playbook the play with Amari Cooper where he tossed it back to him, like a hook and ladder type thing?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Do a quick slant or something. And
I don't know that I would do that in that situation because watch that play again, and I understand it was ad-libbed, but that was milliseconds from disaster, too, because first of all, Amari almost didn't have it. Then Josh almost bobbled it. And then
it was a bad pass.
It could be literally a gajillion things could have gone wrong in that 3 seconds, and they didn't, and it worked out for us. So I don't know, but
I mean, I think you said it earlier, Mike. Like we're all sitting here kind of whining about our loss yesterday, and really, I mean, we're already AFC East champs. We're already in the playoffs, so it really doesn't matter that much, I guess. But,
sure, it does. You want your team going in hot, and then you see that yesterday, and you're like, there's got to be better teams that we're going to play than the Rams.
Well, you see little things like that happen, and they're like precursors to what's going to happen. In the second round of the playoffs, what if something similar happens?
Well, what if you face Kansas City with a red-hot Pacheco?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about this? Let's just say we go in and we beat Detroit.
Okay.
And then we win New England, and we win the Jets, and then we lose New England.
Where are we at with seeding?
Right. So, and we lose New England because we've sat all our starters. So we finished the year 13-4. Is anyone at this table complaining?
Well, no, because I'm the only one that predicted that close.
I think I predicted the 13-4.
You did?
I think
I'll
so.
have to go back to the films.
Yeah.
I think we've had this conversation. Like that's the conversation starter. Like, would we be happy in August where we are right now? And I 100% would say yes.
Yep.
And they've proven though that they're good enough. They sucked us in now to realize this is a Super Bowl contending team. So, unfortunately, we've now entered the arena of, well, what if they don't win? Now, they're capable of winning. The rest of the AFC is not what we thought it was going to be. The Chiefs look like they could be down. So if they don't win, what are we talking about at the end? Are we saying, it was just a rebuilding year? Doesn't look like that.
Well, the last 4 years have been the same thing, pretty much.
I will tell you this about next year's draft. They have to seriously upgrade their D-line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they know that.
I think
Von Miller's got to be gone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and he is, because someone said that if we cut him, there's no dead cap. Is that true?
Something like that.
Because his guaranteed money is gone after this year.
I think so. I think that, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I know it's after the third year, which is this year, then it's the get out. But I know he reworked his deal, so I don't know if anything happened there.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to keep him another year.
I read something today, not to change the subject from Von Miller, but Ed Oliver has 1 or 0 tackles, solo tackles, in 7 of his 11 games he's played in.
Which is crazy.
That's a huge problem.
Last year.
And then if you look at his sacks and his pressures, he's having an absolute down year. I mean, that's just, and when he goes up against those big offensive lines, it happened against Cincinnati in the playoffs, typically happens against the Chiefs where he's a no-show. That offensive line yesterday, which is a pretty good one, and they're big, they pushed him around. And the Detroit game is going to tell us a lot, in my opinion, about where they are as a defense.
I guess I'll wait and see what happens after Detroit and then figure out what, that's funny, Detroit. If that was a one-off trap game or if this is something to be concerned about going forward.
And I don't like that term for that game. I don't think it was a trap game. I think L.A. is good. I really do. Yeah. They started the season horribly. They were 1-4 after 5 games. And now,
who was injured then?
Yeah, and they didn't have Nakua. They didn't have Cooper Kupp. I really do think they're a better team than their record, and they certainly played that way yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So, had they had those guys at the beginning of the year, they may have 2-3 more wins, and we're not calling it a trap game, So that's why I don't think yesterday was a trap game.
See, the thing that, sorry to step on your toes there, Mike. The thing I keep on thinking about is how Matthew Stafford, he's a great quarterback. He's older, and he doesn't get around that well.
Torched us last night.
Yeah, he torched us.
He throws the ball better than anyone, if not better, right up there with anyone.
No, I agree with you 100%. But what I'm saying is that, and we've talked about this with other games, like when we face Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff, that like he's seen everything. So unless you put pressure on him, he's just going to sit back there and pick you apart. And that's sure enough what he did yesterday.
Yep. Well, there was 0 pressures on him, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, no
there were
sacks.
no sacks on either side of the ball.
Yeah, and you mentioned the draft. I think that that's what all the coaches talk about, competition. That's what's gonna breed competition.
Can you tell me who came in for Rasul Douglas? Did Elam come in or no?
Ingram. No, it was Ingram.
Yeah, I think it was Ingram. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of drafts and Elam, the Bills jumped up, I believe, to get Elam when they could have gotten Jordan Davis, who's on the Eagles. Then yesterday, I'm watching the Charger game, and Poona Ford is having a great season, but couldn't get on the field here last year.
Yeah, that's the thing I couldn't understand. I noticed Poona Ford yesterday too. It doesn't make any sense with the defensive line, and yet like you still got like Jordan Phillips. I forget the other guy's name. Quentin Jefferson, is it?
Okay, question. Should they have not brought Carter in and brought Phillips in instead for this game?
Did Phillips not play?
I don't think he did.
I mean, I don't think any of them played that well, but I mean, maybe. I mean, with Carter, I like Carter a lot. I think that you have to get his feet wet because he's been out for 4 games or 5 games, whatever it is. So maybe that's another decision that was wrong. Just because these guys are back and available, maybe it doesn't mean they have to bring them in. Yeah, I think that you have to. Now the Rams played a great game, and so you don't want to take a lot away from them. But I think that the scheme kind of worked against us. Like we were sitting in zone, and man to man would have been a little bit better if you can play it some of the time at least. Send some blitzes. I think you can rush Matthew Stafford into some bad decisions. And
he's notorious for throwing bad picks, and he never even had a bad throw yesterday.
No,
yeah,
we didn't push it. Like I said a few minutes ago, he throws with the top QBs in the league still, even though he has 0 mobility compared to what he used to do.
Yeah,
and all you have to do is get him off balance a little bit, and he's throwing these bad picks. Not even close.
Yeah. I watched a lot of games with Stafford, in those 4:00 games in the last couple of weeks with him running around on getting knocked on his ass, and somehow the Bills couldn't figure out how to do that. So, they are 6-6. Mike, I agree with you that they have been injured, but they're 6-6 in that NFC, and teams were knocking him on his ass, and the Bills didn't even have a sniff at it. Yeah, that was an epic fail yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I'd hate to be in the NFC and see them in the playoffs for sure.
Oh yeah. I think they're going to give their Eagles a run.
I mean, that West is still up for grabs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And if they keep playing like that, they're probably the best team in the West.
Their defense, though, is really. I think that's been one of the consistent things is that their defense gives up.
It was like 2 teams that mirrored each other. Both defenses shit the bed yesterday, and the offenses put on a impressive display.
Yeah.
So, what do we need to do going forward? Anything? What about the special teams blunders?
Well, that I think that changes need to be made.
That black punt, I couldn't believe
that.
Well,
the black punt, Reed Ferguson just got crushed on it,
which is very unusual.
Yeah, it is very unusual.
So
I mean, sometimes that's going to happen. I mean, when was the last black punt against us? I think the Patriots 3 years ago. So I think that that's going to happen every now and then, and that was the difference in the game, yesterday.
Yeah.
But more the overall is what I'm looking at for the special teams. Like I feel like we could get a little bit better.
Hey, Bass has been pretty...
Don't say it.
Oh,
no, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can't say that yet.
It's funny that you brought that up because I said to my wife, we're watching it, and I go, every time the ball comes off his foot, I worry.
Yeah.
Every time. And, you think it's going wide. Oh, no, you got it. Okay.
That's like when Josh used to cock back and launch it downfield.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a pick.
Yeah.
I was watching the 1 o'clock games yesterday and just kind of half paying attention to them, and it seemed like every time the red zone came on, there was a missed field goal or missed extra point. So it was everybody yesterday. Just, we were lucky with Bass making all
Hey, was your garage going yesterday?
Garage was going, yeah. I had a couple of some friends, older friends come over, golf guys. So
Garage doors open or closed?
Garage door was closed. Fire was going. It got a little hot in there, but... it was a rowdy group. We were getting. I'm sure everybody was watching. I was getting testy.
I was by myself.
Yeah, you're lucky.
In the bathroom,
I was getting testy,
pooping. Yeah. So were the Bills' defense.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you? Well, okay. Let's talk about next week a little bit now.
Yeah,
sure. Like I said before, I still feel pretty good. I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm not saying
how is the defense. How is Detroit's running game in the league?
That's very
they
good.
got a two-headed monster with Gibbs and Montgomery.
I think the best plan, and I don't know if they'll do this or not, but the best plan is to try to keep them off the field.
I think they're going to deflate the ball. I think what happened with us in this past game is going to definitely get the defense playing a little harder. Goff, sorry, is not Matthew Stafford. And so I think if you can maybe dial some stuff up to confuse him, he will chuck the ball to the other team. It is Jared Goff. It's not, Stafford's a made man. Goff is not, in my opinion. So we'll see what they do defensively, but I agree. I think they're going to deflate. I think they're going to take the air out of the ball in this game. Try to keep them off the field. Simple ball. After giving up 44 points in the last game, I do not think McDermott wants another one of those games.
Brady's not playing.
Who?
Brady.
Oh, the deflate, right?
See?
Oh, deflate.
Yeah, you knew where I was going with that.
Brady, yeah.
I don't forget that stuff at all. I have in my notes here that
Deflate
I still hate
gate.
Tom Brady. And then later on in the game, much later on in the game, I put so fucking much. Just because.
Yeah.
I think I told Brady to shut the hell up about 5 times yesterday. It just came out.
He was definitely right about the timeouts at the end of the game.
Oh,
He sees the game a lot like Romo does, yeah.
Yeah, because the onside statistics this year is 3 for 40 now. So you're not going to get it.
The league took the fun out of that. You have to announce it, which obviously we're going to in that case. You can't load one side.
It's not even a play anymore.
It's not.
So the announcing thing is the thing that got me. Because like back in I think it was 2009.
in that scenario, you're going to onside it, but
But even like the Super Bowl in 2009, the Saints beat the Colts, and they needed that extra little bit. I mean, in the end of the score, it didn't matter, but at that point in the game, they needed it.
And they came out of the half and onside kicked it.
Yeah.
And so
because you line up like normal, you fake it.
Right.
But if you tell the Colts this is coming, well, I mean, odds are the Colts are going to get the ball.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, I do get it. I know like the data was telling them that the injuries were on the kickoffs. That's where a lot of those head injuries were coming from, brain injuries.
But not on offsides.
Right, but on outside kick, like they eliminated the jailbreak,
10
which
yards.
I get is kind of chaos when they do the jailbreak, and they got rid of that years ago. That's fine. But how can an onside kick be like...
And I think the onside kick, I feel like that's football. Like that's just something you don't change. You just leave it alone.
It's chess. It's just strategy. So, the back to the Detroit game though, like I kind of like the Bills in this game.
You do?
I feel like Detroit's been how many emotional spitting, miracle post-game press conferences and speeches does Campbell have to give? They've been kind of hanging on the edge a little bit like Kansas City. They barely beat the Bears on Thanksgiving. They went right to the end to beat the Packers. I feel like they're due for
Packers are playing well.
Yeah, I feel like Detroit's due for a come to back down to earth game.
I will tell you this: when we win on Sunday,
wow,
I'm going to say that I'm actually good with this loss this week. Because I do believe that's the kick in the ass that this team needed.
Hope so.
You know,
learn from your mistakes, right?
Yep.
Question: if they don't learn from their mistakes and they lose, what's your attitude feeling then?
Depends on how they lose.
Yeah. Well, no. If they lose, period. Now I'm nervous because now we went into. I still think LA's a good team, and we went into 2 good teams in a row and lost to 2 good teams in a row. What's that going to do to us in the playoffs when they're all good teams?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then your losses are going to be Baltimore, good team. Texas at that point were decent. You know, the Detroit and the Rams. And critics are going to say, well, you beat up on the CFL teams. You beat up on your division. You beat up on shitty Arizona team. Decent win against Seattle. But, yeah, you got to get a win against one of these good teams.
I will tell you this. Prior to yesterday, I'm old enough that I remember all the glory years. I remember them vividly. I remember we would be down in games with Kelly and Thomas and Reed, and I knew we were going to win them. I knew they were going to win the game. We're down. We'll win this game. And they did more often than not.
I was very impressed that they came back. First time they've been down all season.
They were down 17 twice in that game.
They never had the lead yesterday.
Yeah. And I tell you right now that this is the first time with Allen this season that I have felt that way. I feel like we can come back and win just about any game. Yesterday was proof. If we lose again next week, that gets a little shaky. Now I'm starting to think, can we beat anybody? You know what I mean? And that's going to be, the confidence level is going to definitely drop. Do I think that we can go deep into the playoffs still and still win? Yes. I will not be as confident in every game. So.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, then again, I try to look at it as like a big picture. Here our stretch was Kansas City, San Francisco, Rams, and Detroit. We knew that was going to be a bear in the schedule. Regardless of where the losses were, if you would have said a month ago, try to get out of those games 2-2. KC, San Francisco, Rams, at Detroit, 2-2. So if they come out of that stretch 2-2, one seed's probably gone. But yeah, like you said, you're 13 or you're whatever you are. You're 10-4 at that point with 3 easy games left. So it depends on how they lose. If it's a similar game defensively to this past game, then I'm really concerned.
Right.
That they can't stop the run. They can't stop a high-powered offense. That would make me nervous.
They say that defense wins championships. And in our case, our offense is definitely going to win a championship for us before the defense does, but a defense can definitely lose you a championship.
Yeah, they got to get a stop in this game. Like yesterday, just get a stop.
The Rams punted once yesterday.
Yeah, just get one stop.
It's hysterical that you say that because all game, I would say, I turn around, my wife and my stepson were sitting there, I'm like, okay, the defense has to make a stop.
That's it.
Okay, the defense has to make a stop.
Couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
They finally did that one time.
I finally stopped saying it. Yeah. And I was texting my buddy, and I'm like, they haven't punted once. And that's when they punted, finally. And he goes, there's your punt. I'm like, well,
too little, too late. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. When is the last time that the Bills defense had a stifling performance against a team that's a strong running team?
I mean, they've adjusted well in games where they've kind of gotten gashed, but they haven't. Then again, that goes to what their offense was doing. The defense was playing well because their offense was playing well and keeping them out in front. So, I don't know. I mean, I could see them playing a Kansas City team and limiting Najee Harris to 36 yards rushing, and forcing Wilson to beat them with his arm.
Well, Najee Harris plays on Pittsburgh.
That's what I said, right?
No.
What did I say?
Kansas City.
I'm sorry.
That's what Mike's here for, to
Sorry.
call us idiots.
I don't know why I said that.
Josh Herbert?
Yeah, no. I'm saying with Russell Wilson, though, I mean, I could see the Bills kind of holding him down. So they got to do it against Henry. They're going to have to do it against Saquon. They're going to probably have to do it this weekend.
And that's what scares me is because they haven't stopped a good running game consistently.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Or ever, really. Like, we've talked about a lot of times throughout the year.
Hold on. Who was the team that was running down our throat and then they stopped running the ball and they started throwing it on us and we ended up winning that game? Who was that against?
I mean, San Francisco did that too.
Well, he got hurt.
I think Miami,
that doesn't count, I guess. But
I think Miami did it.
No, was it before? Who did we play before San Francisco?
The Chiefs. Indianapolis.
Was it
Seattle-
them?
not
Somebody, I
Seattle.
remember them talking about how they were running hard against us, and then all of a sudden they stopped and they just started throwing the ball. And
Well, a lot of times the Bills' offense was starting to pull away, so those teams had to abandon the run.
Yeah.
But you're going to get into a game against the Eagles or against Baltimore where it's close, and they're going to continue to consistently pound the rock.
you know what was unfortunate yesterday is the Bills are too good at scoring and they score too fast. Because then now your defense is going to let St. Louis, L.A.
Yeah.
It used to be St. Louis.
Yeah.
Greatest show on
L.A.'s, I mean...
That's kind of what I mean
that's
about
what
the
makes
Detroit
the
game.
great.
So that about the Detroit game, like having them put together like a 10-play, 8-minute drive.
You're
you know,
not
stuff
running
like
the
that.
ball well right now, so how are you
Yeah.
going to do that? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Throw 3-yard pass after 3-yard pass after 3-yard pass? I mean, he could.
yeah.
I don't think he's going to be accurate enough to do it all game long.
Probably not. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think
How is Detroit's defensive line? I haven't really watched any of their games this year.
I don't think great. I mean, I think they're decent, but not great. They don't have a very good pass rush, I think.
What is Detroit's strong suit on defense? Pass D?
They're banged up.
Yeah, they are pretty banged up.
Yeah, they're getting some guys back, I saw, but they were really banged up against the Packers. But
Hud-
DJ
and-
Reader's coming back.
Hutchinson's out for the year, right?
He's out for the year, yeah. But I think they're getting a little healthier than they just were. But I think their defense is giving up points in games. I mean, the Bears, Caleb Williams did it to them on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I think the Bills can get points on them if they need to.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave 31 to Green Bay, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think after yesterday's game that the Bills can score on any team.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think
with
so.
really only 2 wide receivers, Shakir, Cooper,
Yeah.
Knox a little bit because Samuel's just out there taking up space.
Yeah, he's buddies with Ed Oliver, I think.
Oh my God,
So
what you got, Mike?
this isn't going to give you all the warm and fuzzies, but
No, that's fine. I'm pessimistic, Kyle.
Josh is 252 for 393, 3,033 yards and 23 TDs this year. Goff, 276 for 381, 3,200 yards and 25 TDs. So he actually, on paper, has better stats than Josh. We all know who the better quarterback is. I'm not saying he's not, but the biggest glaring difference though is Goff has 10 interceptions. Josh has 5.
I am very impressed with the Bills not turning over the ball a lot this year.
Yeah, I'm too. I
Did
think
you also know that the Chargers are the highest scoring defense in the league?
I did not know that.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's gotten them playing pretty good football.
dude. They have.
I know that they were decent.
They have a front line that's all they need. Between Khalil Mack and Bosa and Poona Ford and whatever the other guy's name is, and then they've got Derwin James and some other dude. That's the thing. The Bills. Can I go out and say that they don't have a bunch of all-stars on their defense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody real big on the defense besides Milano, who's been hurt forever, and Bernard's a nice player, but I don't think he's
Is Milano or was Milano ever superstar status in the NFL?
I think so.
I think before
he was
got
all
hurt,
pro.
Yeah, before his
Yeah.
injuries last year, he was playing great football.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I see a comparison for the two teams. I'll give you just a quick visual. Yellow is the Lions, blue is Buffalo, and the offense is on the top, defense is on the bottom. So the Lions are leading in almost every category on this list. Total yards per game, they're up on us by about 50 yards. Passing yards, they're up on us by about 40 yards. Rushing yards, 25 yards. I mean, everything. They're up. The only thing we're higher than them is defensive passing yards. We allow about 200 a game. They allow 224.
You know what is real terrible, and my buddy Colin Cowherd said it earlier today, is that Josh Allen had like 400 plus total yards, 6 touchdowns, and you lose. And they were saying that in all the games that Josh Allen has had over like 400 yards of total offense, he's like 5 and 6.
5 and 6. Yep, I heard that stat too.
And
5 and
Mahomes
6.
is 14 and 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff has to do with the team around you. You know, like everybody always says, football is a team game, and
I think that was his point: is that he thinks the best talent at quarterback to ever play in the NFL, and you're wasting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thought I had today. It was like, man, holy smokes, we're watching him like set like records every week, some different record.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit, if they waste this year and get bounced again in the divisional round, the way he was playing, that's gonna sting.
Do you honestly think that he'll stay here his entire career?
Yes. I'd be shocked if not. I really do think
so. Potentially, at this pace, Josh Allen could go down as the best football player to ever play the game, but never win a Super Bowl.
There's a lot of guys that have been like that.
Yep.
I mean,
Dan Marino.
Phillip Rivers, Marino.
Well,
yeah.
he's better than all those guys, right?
Definitely.
Here's one encouraging stat. The
very
only loss that Detroit has is at home.
Yeah, it was Tampa Bay. earlier.
Thanks for finding that silver lining.
Hey, I
Mike.
found something.
Listen, Detroit is not going to go 16-1. They're just not. So
does anybody have their remaining schedule up? I'm just curious.
I get it here.
I mean, listen, the Chiefs are not good right now, like not Chief good, but they still find a way to fucking win.
So they have us this week, then they're at the Bears, then they are at the 49ers, and then home against the Vikings.
So their last game of the year is probably the only one that's going to give them a problem.
And they may not even care at that point.
They may not.
At San Francisco,
I
who knows?
assume they have the number 1 seed.
Right now they do, yeah.
What is Philadelphia's record?
I think 11-2.
They have 2
12-2.
losses, I feel like.
They have 2 losses.
Jesus. And in the beginning of the season, I thought they were going to go upside down this year, but
I did too.
But thank you, New York Giants, for giving them a stud running back. Yeah. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, they are 11-2, Philly. Their only losses are to the Falcons of all teams and the Vikings.
Yeah, what's up with the Falcons? Are they any good
The
this year?
Vikings was preseason.
Kirk Cousins is spent.
Buccaneers.
Yeah.
He's throwing the ball to the other team.
Yeah, six interceptions the last 2 games. The Falcons were winning the division until this week, I think, and then now Tampa Bay is.
Wow.
Because the Falcons have lost 4 in a row, I think it is.
They were talking about the Falcons all summer long about look out for this team.
Studs.
They can get the 13 wins just based on their schedule. And
I will tell you
Cousins is not
this.
playing great.
Kirk Cousins is a financial genius.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
13 years, he has made $294 million just in contract.
Yeah, he's just sitting in the middle, mediocrity quarterback, and just guys keep signing him because he can break a huddle and run an offense.
Yep.
Well, that's a bullshit.
Yep. I mean, that all being said, I think that the Bills will win this week, I think. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I am too. Well, let me tell you, we played Kansas City on my birthday, right?
Yeah.
And I was convinced that it would be a loss for my birthday. My wife's birthday Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
So I told her, said they better fucking win for your birthday. So we'll see.
Okay, so Mike, you were saying that if they lose, you're kind of hitting the panic button.
Not panic at all. I lose that we can beat anybody. You know what I mean? In fact, I have it. I took a screenshot of it for the time. We were down by 17, and I text my buddy and I said, we will win this game. I was still convinced we'd win it at that point. If we lose to Detroit, I don't have that feeling anymore, especially in the playoffs against good teams.
So, obviously, we're all in agreement that the Bills, unless they sit guys for a bye, there's no way that they're losing those last 3 games.
Correct.
You would think not. I mean, I think the Jets, I think that they're going to pack it in.
Hey, speaking of the Jets, thanks for not making it to the playoffs to take the record as of right now of longest playoff
For a
droughts.
couple months.
I think in April we'll beat them, though.
Yeah, we'll be back to tied. We'll be back to tied.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What do you think? I know this is a Bills podcast. What do you think the Jets are going to do? I mean, they got some problems.
They got to start over.
Yeah, they have to just scrap and start.
Do they get rid of him?
Yes.
I mean, I would.
I don't think he'll be.
He
a
may
big
not
Jet.
even come back anyway.
Do you think he would retire?
I think he just wants to keep his face
Yeah,
and
that's what we're
his like
saying.
the whole McAfee thing. Like this guy's a washed up 40-year-old quarterback that still has his face in the NFL. Like,
He's a clown.
Of course he's going to do it. But he shouldn't be anymore.
I referred to a resident expert, Kellen, who told me that number 8 is thumbs down.
Yeah,
He's trash.
Yeah.
no good, no bueno.
So you think can he just up and retire and still get paid, or anything? How does that work with him?
He probably has something written into it, but I think it was he have a 2-year deal?
No,
I think he
it's
has
more-
another year remaining.
No, I think he's got a couple years because I think I saw that if he retires, they still have at least it'll be a cap hit of some kind for the next either 2 or 3 years.
I did see
It's
the cap
big
hit.
money cap hit. Yeah,
For next year, I think it's like $90 million or something.
Jesus.
Yeah.
it's big money cap hit.
They're in trouble. They're going to probably have to tear that thing down.
I mean, they have some decent players. Like I think Garrett Wilson's a great player. I think Breece Hall. I think he's pretty good too.
Yep.
But I think you're right. They have
Garrett
to tear
Wilson
it down.
get traded to Pittsburgh?
No, that was Mike Williams.
Oh, Williams.
Where-
Why did I think it was Wilson?
Where's the quarterback help coming from for the Jets? That's the problem. They're going to be like
Well,
everybody
they-
else.
I think they have to draft, but they have to sign a free agent. I don't know who the free agents are going to be
Yeah.
next year, but they have to sign someone.
Flacco.
Maybe
He might play better than Rodgers.
Off the couch.
So I just got
He's still in Indy right now, right?
I mean, maybe Kirk Cousins goes there. Maybe the Falcons say
please.
enough of
He's
this.
got too much. His contract's
Jets,
too big right
Jets,
now.
please sign Kirk
Yeah,
Cousins.
yeah.
bold prediction when Devontae is that who that is? Devontae Adams to Buffalo when Rodgers retires.
Do we want him?
I don't want
No
him.
chance.
I don't want him.
They're not signing. He's going to command a lot of money.
He's
So,
old too.
well, let's talk about this for a second. Is Amari Cooper coming back?
He might.
They have Samuel for what, 3 years?
But, here's the deal, though. Amari Cooper has made many, many comments about the places that he has played compared to here
Dallas, Cleveland,
and how much he loves it here and he loves the team and he loves the environment and it's not always about, everything else. I think hometown discount's the wrong term for him, of course, but he might take a little bit less than he could get somewhere else to play where he has a chance to win in an environment that he likes, So, and don't forget, too, we have that dead cap's falling off. We're going to have some cap room. Not that we want to spend a ton of money on a Cooper, but look at some of the plays he's made for us. I mean, they're big time catches.
The one thing that I'm worried about Cooper, I hope we keep him actually, but the one thing I kept on hearing yesterday was miscommunication between him and Josh Allen.
But they played together for like 4 games or 5, whatever it's been. I mean,
Why? What did he miss yesterday?
It's just different routes. And
Just-
he was
a few
like the
different
one
times.
Josh
No.
threw.
Yesterday he missed one?
Yeah, Josh threw it like 5 yards to Cooper's left because Josh thought he was going left. He went right.
Oh.
But that's all par for the course.
I've seen that on other teams still happen.
Give them an entire offseason together to work, entire training camp, all that stuff. And I think you see a little bit different next year, Cooper's a good player, and on top of being a good player, he has that fit for this team. You know what I mean? Like like the whole thing that Jordan Poyer's wife said about the environment, you can't replicate that. You can't,
Do you think she said that because she's been listening to her husband whine and complain that he's not here anymore, and look what's going on there?
I'm sure. Or at least whine and complain about the difference in the atmospheres. At least that, So, I don't know. But my point is I think Cooper's a good fit.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, I like him.
Not just as a player, but as a teammate and all that. And, of course, I'm an expert. I know everything that's going on in the
That's
locker room.
true. That's why we signed you to this deal.
I just corrected Josh.
Okay, and Samuel signed what, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, I think 3. Yep.
Do you think that he's still dealing with the turf toe, and that's why he's done absolutely nothing here?
No, I just think we're underutilizing him. I really
Yeah,
do.
it's play design.
Yeah.
Play design. So you telling me he's getting the Gabe Davis effect?
You look at some of the routes they're running. It's Shakir that's going down the middle, over the middle. It's not Samuel.
Where the
There
hell
could be
is Samuel
there could be
out there?
separation.
like that one.
I think the Indy game they tried to get him involved, but I think that's the only game that they've really tried to get him involved.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
So why aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I personally like him. I think he's good. When they signed him, I was like, oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of money, but
Do you think L.A. were scheming to take him out of our game plan?
No.
Yeah, I'm sure they were triple teaming him.
I understand. I don't understand how he can't get anything.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I know. Yep.
I think Allen, it's a trust thing with Allen. You can see he goes to Mac Hollins read all the time now.
Right.
That's a trust thing.
Mac Hollins, honestly, at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, we might be in for it real big with this guy. But he's really
Guy's a
been
baller,
pretty
man.
good.
He did
good.
talk some shit.
Yeah,
Guy's
yeah.
a baller.
I mean, he's definitely pretty good.
Speaking of Mac Hollins, I was at a hockey game this Saturday, and I was standing near somebody that works for the Buffalo Bills. I don't know what he does. I don't know his name. He did confirm that Mac Hollins walks to the stadium.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of him walking down. The tailgaters take pictures of him all the time.
I thought the guy was just driving and then just walking around the parking lot.
See, that's what I thought.
Where's he live?
I don't know.
It's got to be close, yeah.
Where would
He
be
wa- he walked in
where
this-
would be close enough to walk though? And
Probably some housing development somewhere.
Yeah.
that's a decent walk though.
Yeah, that'd
He,
still be a decent walk, yeah.
He was barefoot into the stadium yesterday. Levi Stadium. Not
Yeah,
Levi,
well,
was it? Or SoFi,
SoFi.
rather.
Not that
SoFi,
that's
yeah.
a terrible walk in L.A.
70 degrees.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he has to, yeah.
you know what kills me though is the game I was at, the San Fran game. They showed him walking in barefoot.
Yeah.
No one said anything about what was on his head.
Oh, the scientist out
Oh,
there.
what is going on there?
He has an Instagram channel where he does science experiments.
But he had like a furry hat on.
That's what he
You know,
wears in this Instagram.
Good for this guy, man. He's got a small window of time in the NFL.
Yeah.
How do I make myself a brand? Good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He definitely changed my mind. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we're still playing a little fantasy quarterback here, who stays, who goes in terms of the wide receiver locker room? Obviously Shakir, right? You're gonna have to pay him this year, right?
Is he
Is he
up this
due?
year? I know he's coming due, but I don't know if he's due yet. I don't know. I'd like
I'm
to
not
see
sure.
the contracts before I answer those questions. But I think Mac was only a 1 year deal, right?
Yeah, I think it was only a 1 year deal, but I would like to see him come back.
Yeah, me too.
Who are some studs in the coming up in the draft?
Well, there's the guy from Colorado. I don't know if he's going to be Hunter. Well,
I don't know if you need him though. To be honest with you, I mean their offense is humming.
Yeah,
with the
we
guys
really
they have.
I think we really
I'm
need
just saying in
defensive
terms
line.
of replacements. If we lose,
I think the wide receiver room will look very similar, in my opinion, next year as it does right now.
And if not, there's going to be other plug and play guys
Yeah.
that are on free agents on cheap deals. You know what I mean? If we're going to spend high draft picks, I want to bolster that defensive
this could be
line.
the most exciting offseason. Depending. Okay, so do you think with Josh Allen that the Bills are a yes trade clause, unlike the Sabres?
100%.
No
Guys
trade
want
clause.
to play.
so, yeah.
They want to play here. Offense wants to play with Josh. People want to play on this team with this environment. I mean, that's well known. It's just a matter of money. We didn't have the money, you know.
Sure.
And I don't want to go stupid with it now either. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to the point where we're just dumping money on guys just to get guys. But I think we do definitely have that.
I would hope with Josh Allen you want to play here.
Yeah, definitely, especially a receiver. I mean that's got to be great, right?
Kellen was just showing us Emeka Ibuka. It's I'm a huge Ohio State fan. You guys know that. I watch every game.
Oh God, don't talk about that Michigan game.
The one game we're watching, and my wife goes, "If that guy fucking says Emeka Ibuka one more time," because he was like Emeka Ibuka this, Emeka Ibuka that. I'm like, yeah, but he's really good. That's
Was it
why.
Tom Brady talking about Nakua yesterday.
Yeah, you know, who's the guy, the Aaron guy, the comedian?
Oh, Key and Peele.
He hosted the NFL awards.
Yeah.
What's the ESPYs? Whatever. A couple years ago, and he's like, and Puka Nakua's here. And you want to know what's cool about Puka Nakua being here? Is that I can say Puka Nakua over and over again.
Hey, speaking of names, have you seen this kid that signed with Oregon?
No,
You haven't seen this kid's
is he
name?
Is he a quarterback or what is he?
What position is he?
Something tells me it won't matter. What's his,
Oh boy! All right,
what's his name?
you have to Google his name, and don't say it on the radio because I don't know how to pronounce it. That guy. Just type in like Oregon prospect or something like that.
The silent K?
Is that silent?
It might be.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
It's like the guy on the Lakers where his last name's Connect. Maybe it's...
Stop.
I'm not allowed to say it.
Anyways, folks, I think I don't know. The Bills have I don't know. I lost faith again in McDermott. He pisses me off.
Did not work.
Yeah, I think I lost
Okay.
faith a little bit, but
Okay, so let's get to the bigger picture here. When he gets into these positions, is he ever going to get us over the hump, Johnson? Is he the guy to get us over the hump? Because Andy Reid is not making those mistakes.
Yeah, I think if you look at what happened yesterday, I worry that if that's a Super Bowl Sunday and we're all excited and Allen is playing out of his mind, that we don't get another 13 seconds or another game like yesterday again.
Show Mr. Johnson.
Nothing convinces me that that's going to change.
And that's the thing too, because
Show Mr.
especially
Johnson.
in a Super Bowl, how many of those are close, right? And
That's what I was saying. Like Kyle, you've kind of driven the train here about McDermott, but I agree 100% that like he's just not going to. He's a good coach, good defensive coordinator, all that good stuff, but he's not going to get us over the hump. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, we're smiling and we're lovey-dovey with the guy when they're beating teams 30-10 and they're winning by 15. Like, yeah, you know, he's great coach, great culture, but dude, when rubber hits the road and you're in these situations, I would say definitely more often than not, he has fucked it up. Excuse my language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then he has won them the game. It's Allen that's doing it, not him.
Excited for Kansas City because he made the call to go for it. When I think last year or the years before he would have not gone for it.
Right, that was a good one.
So I got excited about it, but I don't think
To me, the saddest, the depressing thing is, it just turns into chaos at the end of these games, where it's like he loses control of just basic, functions of an NFL team. 9 guys on the punt team yesterday. That Denver game last year when they had too many men on the field when Denver got the re-kick. It's just chaos that he doesn't seem to be able to manage in those situations. It's not, I don't know what.
It's too many times. It happens.
Yeah.
Yes. Something like that can happen once in a while.
Yeah.
But it just happens too often.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, with what happened with 13 seconds, it's a Marty Schottenheimer moment, and I think that's what his legacy is going to be.
Colin Cowherd compared him to Chuck Knox.
Okay.
Like, wins everywhere he goes, but can never win a trophy.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck Knox, didn't he get 4 of them in Pittsburgh?
Chuck Noll, are you thinking of?
Oh, Chuck Noll, yeah.
Did I say the right? Is it Chuck Knox or is it something else? The former Bills coach.
Yeah, I think it is.
Chuck Knox is the former Bills coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So McDermott has a 627 winning record, right?
It's pretty good.
69-41. We are sitting at 10-3 this year. Imagine if he did manage the clock better, if he managed those situations better. What would his numbers be?
Well,
he'd have a Super Bowl.
41 losses. What if he won a
should.
third of those?
You got the best player on the planet. You got to get a Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, that's it. He has no excuses. He's a coach. He has top 1-2 players in the sport.
does the loss yesterday hurt Josh Allen's MVP?
No, it increases
No, it
odds.
helped it.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it definitely
You think that's
bolsters
why he
it.
botched it?
He went minus 250 to minus 450, I want to say.
No. McDermott didn't botch anything, 100%.
I mean, he did.
Not on
but
purpose.
But you got a guy that's throwing for 3 and running for 3, and you still lose if you're not the MVP. You know what I mean? So
The only thing he's up against is Barkley
I
will break
don't agree.
Dickerson's all-time rushing record. If that happens, they might lean to him.
But
I know the yardage counts all year, but man, imagine if he was with Philly the entire season.
he was.
What do you mean he was?
They signed him in the offseason.
Yep.
Okay, I'm off the show.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis, sign us off.
Our fearless leader, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, I thought they brought him. Never mind. I didn't know. Oh, yeah. That's how much I pay attention to NFC football.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Listen,
Barkley,
yikes.
I feel like that's a political thing. Like last year, Lamar Jackson got it with clearly Josh Allen should have. So maybe they'll do it for Josh Allen this year.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If Allen keeps this up, we have how many games left, right? If Allen keeps up this pace
4.
and does not win the MVP,
Yeah.
I don't believe in that award anymore.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
And you said the vote is casted prior to playoffs, before the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's only regular season.
Playoffs.
Yep. It's only regular season. But the other thing too is that all the voters are media guys, and half of them hate the Bills.
yeah.
You know what's crazy is I started noticing these guys in the beginning of the year, they were talking so much shit, except for Nick Wright. But like that Emmanuel not Camacho.
Yeah.
And then the other dude with the shaved head that's a older guy who's on.
Good Morning Football.
Is he the one? What's his name?
Akbar Kabajamia Milla. I don't know.
That's pretty close.
I know, but now these guys are all flipping scripts, and now like
Except for
Stephen
Nick
A.
Wright.
Except for Nick Wright. Stephen A. Smith is
Stephen A. Smith definitely did. yeah.
pro Allen.
How could you not be?
Yeah.
Well, Nick Wright's a Kansas City homer. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw Nick Wright said the other day that he thinks that.
I would love to see what he said today.
Who'd he pick? Some random, like Justin Herbert is going to win.
Not Josh Herbert.
Yeah, it wasn't him though, but it was like who? Like because he doesn't want to say Allen. He doesn't want to say that Allen should get it. And the other thing too, when we beat them the other day or a couple weeks ago, he said that was our Super Bowl. You saw that, yeah? Nick Wright said that was the big Super Bowl.
Yeah,
yeah.
The one thing I'll say
Rams
for Nick,
game?
No. When we beat
Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Oh, what a dick!
And remember when Kelsey was clapping after the game at the end of the game? He goes, "Yeah, he was congratulating them on their Super Bowl win."
Yeah.
You know what? That's another reason why I hate the Kelsey brothers now.
Yeah, I mean, I never liked Travis, even before he got to be as famous as he is now. But, you know.
I don't know. Kelsey does not look the same.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't know how he does not retire. He's got nothing to prove. He's got all these Super Bowls, and he just signed a $100 million podcast deal.
Are you having one of each over there? I'd make a recommendation and go. Oh, okay. I was going to say the one on the left. Okay. Anyways,
The one thing I'll say for Nick Wright is that he
needs a haircut.
That too. You know what to expect from him. I guess that's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's just,
I blocked him on Twitter because I just don't want to see his takes. But he keeps coming up on other people's stuff. I'm like, I don't want to see any of this stuff.
You can't get away from him.
No.
All right. Let's do picks, I
Definition
guess, right?
of hot take.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
You want to go first on us?
Sure. So Bills, I would say 36 to 34.
Wow. All right. Mike?
So I'm going to stick with my 31 number. I'm always 31 for the Bills. And you know what? I've been pretty good this year with that number.
Yeah.
However, I do think that the defense is going to tighten up a little bit. Is it going to be a blowout? No. I don't think that they're going to allow quite that many. So I'm going to go 31-24 Bills.
Johnson, that's a lot of pressure.
I think that the defense is trending in the wrong way. Going back to that San Francisco game, they were gashing the shit out of us. Had the weather improved, I think they would have continued to do that. And to come up against this offense, coming off the performance they just had, I think the defensive
Shut his mic off.
I think the defensive struggles continue, and I think the Bills are kind of getting a couple of games of adversity here, you know, and it's a long season. And I think I think that Detroit beats us 31-23.
Viola, what do you think?
The Bruins are awesome.
I'm going to push back.
I'm going to push back.
Bruins.
Who's going to do Brendan's voice tonight?
I couldn't do it justice.
No.
I think that the Detroit's going to win.
Oh, yeah. That's close. I don't know if he's that nasally. Okay. I can predict that Sean Viola is probably. You know what? I wonder if we could. That's all right. We won't. I got to agree with Johnson. Any team that can run the ball, I'm now afraid of. I'm going to go. Johnson, do you think there's going to be a shootout in that game at all?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
You think Detroit's going to control that tempo all game, just pound the rock?
I think Detroit will get theirs. I think, I don't think it's going to be like what we just watched. I think their defense is probably a little bit better.
Better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? And in that loss, they still continue to score more than 30 points. Is that like 8? That's like 9 or 10 games in a row now, 30
Something
points?
like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me-
something like that.
Let me check my
You know,
I think the last time we didn't score. Sorry, I think the last time we didn't score 30 was against Baltimore. I think.
Probably.
Texans, they got
Texas,
to 20.
yeah, 20.
We have scored 30 points or more in every game except for 2.
Baltimore and Texans then.
No, Jets and Texans. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, Ravens. What am I doing? I got this written down wrong.
Yeah, Ravens and Texans.
Actually, the Jets game, too.
3-20. Yep, 3. That's so
won
they
that
scored
game.
30 the first 3, less than 30 the next 3, and they've scored 30 ever since. Yeah. So
8 in a row.
I think
you know
this
what?
was-
I'm going to go. Let's see, 32. We're going to lose 30-35.
High scoring game.
Yeah, because you know what? If they win, I win, and if they lose, then I win.
Yeah, there you go. It's respectable. I don't know. I'm feeling good about it a little bit. I think things that went for the Rams the things that went right for the Rams yesterday maybe will go right for us on Sunday.
I am your typical or maybe atypical Bills fan now. I don't know how everyone feels across the board now, but like the season has gone so well that you're waiting for it to fucking crack and break, and you're like, and it's all back to normal.
Yeah, I hear you.
Every team's like that, though. Every team's one catastrophic injury away from their playoffs being over with.
True story.
So can't think about it.
Yeah, I mean, if Trubisky comes in before the last Patriots game, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I think this was the first loss for Josh Allen and the Bills in 15 games in December and January. I think it is.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
He's got a really good record.
Sometimes you have to lose one to win a few. So hopefully this was it.
Is that just football jargon and
A little bit.
It's a big test. It's a big test. I mean, I would much rather have them have a more inferior opponent this week coming off what just happened to them than this. It's a big test. You're playing one of the best, if not the best team in the NFL.
That's a lot of points we just let them score.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're playing one of the hotter offenses.
That's what has to change. And remember, too, that one of those scores was a special teams.
Yeah, they got 37, essentially.
Yeah, and I'm not telling you that they're not going to put that in the end zone anyway 2 or 3 plays later, but,
Okay, so per my notes, this is the first game all season that the Bills let in more than 30 points.
That's
Sorry.
could be right.
Sorry.
No,
Miami.
No. Nope, sorry. Ravens, 35.
Yeah, I was going to say Baltimore scored more than 30 on us.
35. Other than that, the most was 28 points.
What did we beat Miami? That 31-28?
31-27.
31-10.
No, the field goal at the end.
31-10 and 30-27.
30-27. Okay.
27.
Yeah, so 131. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the offenses that they've played that have been good have scored on the Bills. Miami put up 27. Baltimore put up a bunch of points. Rams put up a bunch of points. Those are really the good offenses that they've faced.
You are correct. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And
I mean, Arizona, Seattle, those teams are inconsistent. These are pretty dynamic offenses in the defense.
I think we're gonna see some. This is the time of year where you start to see the teams start shifting up, down, and up and down and up and down. And,
it's a long season.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about seeding before, so maybe the one thing is if we do lose against Detroit, it's an NFC game. So
Yeah, but
seeding-wise, maybe that helps.
doesn't every win count though? I mean, isn't
It does.
It does.
Yeah, you get the 4 losses. One seed's out. You're fighting probably for the 2nd or 3rd seed at that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think probably if we lose on Sunday, we're probably out of the first seed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But aren't you so close with Baltimore and Pittsburgh now that like you
Baltimore's
probably
at 5 losses.
that you're if you lose to Detroit, you definitely cannot lose the last 3.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're assuming that the Bills should win those 3 division games, but
Which means you probably can't sit Josh Allen.
it depends on what the scenarios are that last week of the season. If we aren't going for the 1 seed, I don't know that we'll have a home playoff game. So I don't know if they care if it's 2 or 3.
I think sit him and let him.
Well, how quickly could we go from 2 to 5? Or no, 2 to you can't go to 5.
Well,
right?
we've already won the division.
Yeah,
So 2 to 4.
You can only go to 4, yeah. Either way, you get a home game.
Yeah.
I mean that drastically changes who you may play, right?
100%.
Yeah, it does.
But to me, I mean, all of them below us are.
Sure. Who are the today's wild cards?
Denver.
With the Ravens, the Chargers, and Denver.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, all of them. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Chargers, their offense is not stellar, but they have a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, I don't think I want to see for a while.
No.
Just because they have a strong running game.
Although I would love to smash on them in the playoffs because of what they did to us, in the regular season.
I would love to meet up with Kansas City and knock their ass out.
That would be the ultimate. Take them out and win the Super Bowl, finally shut up the narrative. You know what I mean? But the narrative that we can't beat them in the playoffs. However, we meet them, they beat us again. Here we are.
Yep.
Oh, my God. What would... Oh, my God. I don't even want to think about that.
Don't.
Nope.
Okay, here's a hypothetical, and then we can cut her down. What have you guys thought about what you would do if the Bills were in a Super Bowl? Like what your party situation would be like?
I have not. I was just informed by my child who took me to the game last week that we're watching it together. It doesn't matter what we're doing, but she's going to be there. So, but no, I mean, I will tell you that Rob, who's been on the podcast before, he's a big 49ers fan and all that. He said that if the Bills are in it, he won't host the party because he hosts every year.
Won't.
No.
Okay.
Because he knows how, what's the word I'm looking for?
Passionate?
Thank you. We all are. And so I don't know.
I kind of want to be alone because I'm definitely going to cry if the Bills win.
I don't give a shit
Yeah,
who
but
I'm with. I'm going to cry anyway.
Don't you think you'd want to be with a group of people and all just go berserk together? That's what I was thinking. Like, how big of a party could I put together?
I don't know emotionally if I could sit through another loss. Super Bowl loss. I don't know I worry how we would take that.
Yeah.
So 1999, we're in the Stanley Cup against Dallas.
Yep.
And I'm watching the game at the time at now it's my ex-wife, at my girlfriend's house. She lived with her grandparents. And they score that goal in overtime in holes in the crease. And I just laid there on the floor. I couldn't move. I just laid there. And her grandmother's like, all right, it's over. Get up. She's old German, no? Get up. Just give me a minute. It's done. Let's go. Get up. Give me a fucking minute. So I understand what you're saying. We go through this again, lose it again.
I can't think about it. I can't think about losing.
I think about my own kids. My daughter, who's 13, is so wrapped up in this and Bills and dressing up on Sunday morning. She comes down with her Bills gear on. Emotionally, I don't know how she would be able to handle that.
You know what's crazy is that our children only know good Bills football.
Yeah.
A lot of years I taught middle school kids, and they could have cared less about the Bills because they were terrible.
Yeah.
They never wore anything. There were no Bills days. That has completely changed in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
Yeah. All I will say is that to win it, you got to be able to get to it.
Right.
So, I guess if they can get there, and if they lose, that is the biggest step that they could have made without winning it, right? Yeah. Which would suck, but
we should have.
That would prove to us that McDermott can get us through the playoffs to a Super Bowl,
But
right? I'm trying to be as positive as possible.
You got to win it. It's hard to get there. You got to win it.
In my opinion, that should have happened already.
Yeah.
We should have already been there and lost one.
Yeah.
Now we're going for the win.
Yeah.
So we've skipped that. We need to go for the win.
You got to win it.
You know what? That is very good that you said that. So is that another reason that he is not the guy, McDermott, to get us the win?
I don't know. The old adage, kind of what you were just saying a minute ago. To be the best, you have to beat the best, right?
Ric Flair.
So, yep.
Woo!
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, show us that. Then we'll talk.
Okay.
We get through this year and we're right back to where we were. I think I'm hopping on the Kyle bandwagon. So,
did you guys hear Sean? Because we were discussing, what did Sean try asking us if it would be better to not get the 1 seed, and what was he trying to say? Like, he's all about health of the team, which, we have proven that the Bills can still win minus some players.
right.
But what was his argument? That he'd rather not have the 1 and be healthy than have the 1 and have an injury? I'm like, you're nuts, dude.
I don't think it works that way, though.
Yeah, like what does that have to do with each other? Because the other thing, too, is...
I think he's trying to sacrifice a better seating with home field the whole time versus having your team healthy. Because
this is a hypothetical situation.
Yeah. I was putting the number 1 seed as a highest priority. Like, I think that's
the number
very
1
important for this
seed
team.
Gives you that bye week, a true bye week where everyone can heal up a little bit, rest up a little bit, and you're already in the second round,
right?
You know?
So, because my thought is if you can get the number 1 seed and you don't have to win your last game and still can keep the 1 seed, that's like a 2-week bye.
Yep.
Especially for your studs, right?
Yep.
Who they definitely wouldn't play Allen, and watch, they'd fucking bench Deion Dawkins.
Well,
did you guys like that ski mask he put on over his helmet?
I did not see it.
Where
you were
during the
at the
game he
game.
put those goggles.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't see that? Oh man, I saw that.
It made me laugh.
I do love his face mask.
He
though.
got a custom face
the
mask
snowflake.
made. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought there was something. Was it just for the design, or there's actual function to it?
No, there's function to it because he wipes his visor or something.
Oh, okay.
I think that was that on the broadcast yesterday?
They were talking
Before?
about something with him wiping a visor or something.
Yeah.
He could get his hands in there.
Yep.
I don't know, but whatever. All right, folks, we're split on Bills winning and Bills losing. I guess we'll all know at the same time next Sunday. It's another 4:30.
Yep.
And it's not going to get flexed.
No.
Okay.
CBS wouldn't let it happen.
Okay. So biggest game of the calendar.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, I think KC was, and now on to Detroit.
So if we lose, kiss the number one goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of implications here.
But we're not going to lose.
There you go.
That's the spirit.
All right. Well, another reminder that this episode is sponsored by MJB Electric.
If
Mike?
I may, real quick, with his permission, I just want to say that Mike from MJB had a little bit of a health scare. He's doing really well, though, and business is still booming. He's got his crew doing everything, so please give him a call, 465-5017, for any of your home or commercial electric needs. Sorry, Kyle, I jumped in there because I wanted to make sure we all knew he's doing well.
Thank you very much for the update, and thank you to Mike, and Godspeed, buddy.
Yeah, get well soon.
Yeah, well.
And our other sponsor, Dr. Bob at Doug's Chiropractic at DougsChiropractic.com, DUDZIK, chiropractic.com, or call him 716-634-6272.com. All right, everybody. Have a good night, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
ZaBillsPodcast is a presentation of Kmart Productions, sponsored by MJB Electric and Doug's Chiropractic. Thank you for listening, and if you haven't, please follow, rate, review the show. It helps with the algorithm. ZaBills is executively produced by me, Kyle. Executive sound engineering by yours truly, also me. Fundraising, also by Kyle. All artwork executively produced by Avery and Mark Rochon. What the heck is this? All music and lighting executively produced by Kyle. That's more like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Good night. Yeah, baby. Yeah.